Hello again, Club. Today I'm bringing you another build video, starting build video, fresh out of Endgame build video for Torchlight Infinite, and this one is for the Berserker Rehan. And yeah, it's an interesting setup, it's very squishy, yet I still have 2,700 HP, but that doesn't mean certain things won't do that much damage and one-shot us. But in the worst case, it's a one shot. In the best case, we can survive the first hit, and that's fine. The build is very mobile, and it does it does a lot of damage, and you're just gonna be moving around the enemies. Unfortunately, with this Berserker, it's hard to make a build that requires around 100 energy only, and only whatever basic items you can find freshly out of endgame without buying some expensive stuff from the auction house. But I think I managed to kind of get it to work. I really wanted to make a spin to win build, but I was too vulnerable with the spin to win. And spin to win is probably better when you have more energy. So this build is something that you can use, as I mentioned, with low energy. I'm using 125 energy, but with around 100, 110, you would see in the skill segment we can get it working. So I've got three things, three sources of healing. I'm not using mana, I'm using HP as my skill cost. And I have some lifesteal. So buckle up, I hope you enjoyed, and let's go. Starting with the skills setup. As you can see, I've got 125 out of 129 energy in use. Some things I would show you where we can remove some of the points if you have less than me. First of all, in the main skill, prioritize that, get at least 4 support skills. Groundshaker is what I think does the most damage from the ones I have access to. I mean, even leveled up Fire Slash, which I wanted to use, doesn't do as much damage. And some of the other skills, I think Groundshaker is the best for this case. Melee physical damage increase is not bad. You can add some elemental damage if you feel like it, or something like that, if you don't want to focus on physical. Added fire damage here as well, so that's not bad. Attack focus, this is to grant us focus, which again increases our crit rating per stack of focus, and the attack damage, which is solid. Then crit strike damage increase. You could go crit strike damage and eventually add crit rating, or just don't use the crit rating as a support, up to you. Or you can go crit rating here and maybe later add the crit damage. I think the crit damage is the better one to use between the damage and the rating. But again, it's up to you to decide which way you want to go. We've got potion for HP and mana, and that probably I should change to the potion that only restores HP, because we don't need mana. We use HP as our main casting attribute. So HP is good. You need that HP potion here. And then I've got Fountain of Life, and in here I've got cooldown reduction in the potion, for obvious reasons. I've got swift dodge, that's why I'm dual wielding. If you're using a two-hander, you would have to use the leap attack, and that ruins the whole setup for me, because swift dodge is much more convenient to use, because you can just tap the button and it dashes in the direction you're facing, whereas with the leap attack, if you just tap the button, it jumps in one place, instead of jumping in where you're facing to the maximum. So leap attack is something you can build around as a damage dealing skill, to be honest, and that's why it works like that. And with leap attack you have to hold and drag the button, and that loses some time, and that's why I like swift dodge, and that's why I like dual wielding, and dual wielding gives you more attack speed, so that's why. Berserker's Robe for extra healing, I like it, but if you don't need that extra healing and that extra melee skill damage stack, you can add some of the other shouts. And extra healing from Fountain of Life, again 3 healing skills. That's because right now we're starting fresh out of endgame. We barely have the gear to survive. We barely have enough energy to increase our skill usefulness. That's why I decided to just go for survivability. Here I've got auto defense with stone skin, and there can be more things added there as well. And then here I've got curse on hit with scorch, restrain and steadfast. I think instead of scorch we probably should put vulnerability, because we're not doing that much fire damage. Vulnerability is a good thing you can put there. But again, if you look at my damages, I've got added fire damage and I've got physical damage, and fire is my most damaging. That's why I added scorch. But if your highest damage is physical, then just change it to vulnerability. I had vulnerability before, but then I went back to I went to scorch. And I've also put steadfast here, because I like that extra armor. Ideally you can go without the steadfast and save some points, and that's gonna save you 15 points, just like that, 15 points. And if you remove the cooldown from, if you remove the extra speed after dashing here, you get at 105 points this setup. This is the setup at 105 points. I mean, you can remove other things as well. You can remove the restrain, and that's fine. Then it's okay. And then I have swiftness here, which you have to be careful with sealed mana, with the sealed mana increases, because if you level up this skill, the sealed mana needed will get stronger. What I was using here was the HP regeneration thing, I think, but then it started using so much mana that I just can't use rejuvenation anymore. And I'm not sure what happened to my mana, but now I can't use this after reworking those things, but that's fine. That is fine. I only put it for the extra mobility because it's better than anything else I could put for this little mana. Again, you would need more mana to have that, and when you're fresh out of the endgame, you have to make sacrifices of what to use, what not to use. In the talent tree, I went for God of Might, and then I went for Blood Striker, and then I went for Blade Runner, which actually is not a strength main note, but also gives good bonuses to dual wielding, and also with swords and lightning attack, which I'm not gonna use the lightning attack stuff, but it also gives good stuff. You'll see why in a moment. Let's start with God of Might. Here we've got Perfect Guard. Chance to gain hardened attack damage while hardened is active. I think it works nicely. If you prefer Ember Body, obviously go for Ember Body, but you lose DPS, but you also get very decent physical damage reduction there. Here I got Sturdiness, maximum life and life regenerated. I used to use Elimination while leveling up, it was very nice, it even works on the mini bosses. Attack immediately eliminates enemies under 18% life, is just great. Extreme Power is also nice. Extreme Power is also nice, and the higher your level, the stronger this gets. But I think Sturdiness is a good thing for now, when we need life more than armor. Then under Blood Striker, I'm using Dangerous Spell. 50% extra skill cost, mana cost converted to life cost, which means while you're using your skills, you're draining your HP, and that means you need life steal. And extra HP to increase your life. That's why we're building in such a way. Otherwise, you can go for other things like Coin Toss, but again, I'd rather do Dangerous Spell there. And there, Sweeping Strike. That skill tree is all about that. Sweeping Strike or Deterrence. I was using Deterrence, but I didn't notice it working. I didn't notice any increase in the damage. Maybe Deterrence is broken. It doesn't show up in my buff bar. I don't get that extra 500 damage when I lose 5000 life recently. Also, the game needs to specify what recently means. Is it 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5? How many seconds is it? That's why I decided to go Sweeping Strike. It's not the best, but it's I think better than Rip for this specific setup. So yeah, I mean, Rip is not bad, but I think Sweeping Strike is what we need. And under Blade Runner, we've got this, and over here eventually I will I will have to decide what to take. And I'm not gonna get Proto Electric. I will not get... I will have to decide between Fighting Quill and Dummy Puppet. Off-hand weapons do not participate in attacks while dual wielding. 50% of off-hand weapon damage added to main hand weapon. This is not bad, but I don't know if I would want this. Fighting Quill, in the other hand, 5% current wife lost when under trio, but 120% trio effect. And you only lose 5% of your HP, not per second, just in total, while you're under trio. But then, yeah, you get 120% more of the trio. So that 21 attack speed, casting speed, and movement speed becomes 45, or roughly around there. Let's say 45. I think that's what they wanted to make it with 120%. I don't have the exact number, but I think it's safe to say it's 45. Okay, so that's definitely a good increase there. So let's show you which ones I took, and here we took the damage and chance to double damage. We took the crit strike here. We took the maximum life here, the maximum life there. And then we got the maximum life and minus skill cost. And keep in mind, minus skill cost means minus to the HP we would be using when dealing damage. And I had to sacrifice some damage here. I had to sacrifice some damage to make ends meet with the survivability. Eventually you would have more points and you would increase both your damage and the survivability, but I wanted to not get one shot by trash mobs. That's why I focused on stacking life and stuff like that. Damage here, crit strike rating here, life and regeneration, life and casting an attack skill cost 3 current life, casting an attack skill cost 1 maximum life, 3 missing life added as physical damage to attacks as well. Here we have life regain, and here we have life regain as well, which is life steal basically, and accuracy if at least 500 life lost recently. Now here we have hardened effect, and here we have hardened on wall life, 10% hardened effect and 20% hardened effect on wall life. Here we have 36% melee physical damage when wielding an axe, and since I'm wielding an axe I'm using it. If I wasn't, I wouldn't use this. So here we have bonuses with axe, and in Blade Runner we have bonuses for sword, but I will probably go for axe and axe or axe and hammer. We'll see. And this one is again axe bonus. And then Blade Runner, as you can see, I've got some attack damage and area. I've got some max life again, a lot of life here, and then I've got some more life there. And then I also have this point here for defense, and defense increases armor, evasion and energy shield. All those three get boosted by defense. So yeah, again there's a lot to grow this build. Here you have a multi-strike chance when wielding a sword if you decide to go for that. You have shock damage, which again is not why I took this tree. Multi-strike while dual wielding, which is why I like that tree. Life regain, again why I like that tree, it's a good synergy for us. Life regain interval while dual wielding, and extra shield regain interval when dual wielding. Life regain, again a good stuff to grow you in that tree. I think it's a good synergy, Blade Runner with Butt Striker, and I think eventually it could grow into a fun dual wielding setup. But again, this is not a meta setup for endgame. For late endgame, it's a meta setup for the it's not a meta, it's a basic setup for the beginning of the endgame to get you started, to get you going. And now we are at the traits, and for the traits there isn't that much to say, and you can I think after level 70 you can keep respecting this, so that's fine and understandable. So over here again at 16 there isn't choice, at 32 there is a choice, and I decided to take Frenzy Furious because it's not convenient for me to have to stretch my hand to press the activation of Rage, of Berserk. So I decided to go for this. I like the automatically entering Rage when at the maximum. I can focus on DPSing and dodging and not think about activating it. but you feel free to go Righteous Fury if you want it. At 66 and 80 I haven't looked at those yet, but there are some extra interesting things that you can get here. So I think what I would probably do might be the Boiling Anger, so I can get into rage quicker. Some people would prefer Tunnel Vision, but I think I would prefer the other one. I would prefer the Boiling Anger, and at level 80 I would prefer mostly maybe Uncontrolled Anger. Yeah, I would prefer Anger for this setup. Again, it's all optional, and over here, by the way, I've added this multi-strike, and I've added here Steam Row. And I'm not sure what this does. Does this only apply while I'm during rage, or does it apply all the time? I think it applies only while rage, but I think this is a good choice of things. Again, I'm still debating what I should put here and how that would work, but there are all sorts of things one can use, such as converting damages, such as adding extra damages, and yeah, I think those two work nice, those Team Row and multi-strike. Here we are at the Pact Spirit tree, the Pacts tree. And again, I say it in all the videos so far, but I know this is the gacha pay to win system of the game, and I know at the beginning not everyone would have had good luck to get a legendary or a purple, or getting enough upgrade materials to max out certain ones that are good for you. So in some cases you might use something like this that gives you 2 extra pact nodes, but doesn't give you that great bonuses for your setup. But you use it for the extra pact nodes, because that's extra pact points you can put in other places, and that is understandable. That is completely understandable if you do that. So what I've got here is I put something that gives me extra nodes, and this actually also gives me useful things: attack damage, attack crit strike rating, and even attack speed. And it enhances the node at the top by boosting its base bonus, and it also at the outer ring gives you chance to paralyze. So this one is chance to paralyze. It's not bad because paralyze makes them take more damage, and from 9% it goes to 14% extra damage taken reduction. Here I've taken the physical damage reduction, and because I don't have other choices anyways. Here's the movement speed, here's the XP, and here instead of XP I decided to go for attack crit strike rating. I mean, if you need XP, obviously use the XP. Here I'm using something that instead of putting a leveled up one, see, I've got this, where did it go? This one is leveled up, but this is not a good synergy. And sure, in some cases I would prefer to put this one so I can get 2 extra nodes, but I've decided that those extra 2 nodes, which could give me this 13 extra damage, won't be worth it that much, because here I get a chance to deal double damage, 2% and 2%, and another 4, that's 8%. Then I get 5% multi-strike chance, 5% multi-strike chance, and 10, so I've got 20% multi-strike chance. And here instead of 10% damage, the basic, I'm using the one from the spirit, which is 12% attack damage, so I've got from those two a total of 4 extra. And from this one I'm getting extra 4, so we're getting 8% extra more damage than we would have if we used another one and used the basic nodes. We get 20% multi-strike. I mean, it's a purple one, it's not upgraded, but it's good enough. It's good enough to make it worth it, which is decent. Here there's the extra damage node, which eventually I will get, and this one I'm only using for the extra pact nodes. And yeah, eventually maybe I could put some elemental resistance here, or I could just go for the drop quantity or the chance to avoid damage. We'll see. I'm not sure here what I would prefer, but this is kind of it. This system, again, it's very random what you get from the gacha. It's just RNG, RNGesus and Woodcipher. You have to pray to them. But I think it's a very good place to get extra stats, extra drops, and when you're max level, when you start min-maxing, this will require a lot of tweaking, tinkering, and a lot of grinding for materials and for those things that you use for the gacha. In terms of gear, every build needs flat damage. What type of flat damage depends on the setup. For me, fire and physical are the ones I'm stacking the most, but again, whatever I get, see, I have gear chaos damage here, that's fine, I'm using it, and that's good. You want to get those things, but you also need resistances, especially on a melee character. Resistances are important. You see, I don't have them maxed out. I've got 46, 70, 62, 53. It's not great. My life is 2.7k, and I only have 30 energy shield, which again, it's not about the energy shield for me. And you can see my armor is 6.8 thousand, which is 60% expected physical damage mitigation. It's not that great, but it's something. In terms of gear, I tried to get as much life as I can. I focused on life. Life is our casting cost, skill cost, and it's what you would be stacking the most. I put some mana as well because I need it, but in most of the cases you can see I've enchanted gear for life. So here I even put some chaos resistance, but yeah, try to stack physical damages, try to stack life, and maybe get enough mana, because mana is also needed, obviously. Restoring life on defeat is good, but in general you would try to not get hit much. You're a melee class, yeah, it makes no sense, but still this is squishy for now. So this ring I got yesterday, it's not bad. Physical damage added is chaos damage, and added means it's extra, it's not conversion. One gets removed and gets transferred, it's one gets taken, leaving behind what we took, but making a duplicate, and then this gets added. And this one gives me chaos resistance, that's why I use it, and because of the life. It's too good chaos resistance, and if you really need chaos resistance, you can look into that ring and get it. But I focused on survivability. Obviously this is mediocre trash tier gear, but it's better than nothing, and again I tried to make do with what the game offered me, what I had at hand. Obviously it's not a meta build, it's just a starting setup to get you going, and yeah, again, focusing on wife was and damages was what I did, and resistances. If you wanna get notified when I upload more content like this one, or guides, or news and other builds for this game or others like it, Wooter and not so Wooter games, you can subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button to not miss out the notifications. Keep in mind there's also memberships that grant my members access to emotes and badges made by me, as well as members can ask me on Discord for some tutorials of some of the Adobe software. Thanks for watching all the way until the end. Keep it cool, Struck Club. Until next time, and goodbye.